I will bring them to you if you pay me. I will bring you their riches and discover them if you pay me. It was a conquest to take out the children of Israel, which were over the land, over the waters, in the new land. There's more. Let's get the other one. Somebody had their hand raised?
Yeah, they went through the Euphrates River to the Persian Gulf
and went over the Atlantic, exactly. Now, how do science fight against this? Because they knew people. Let me tell you, this is no new information. If Christopher Columbus had it, you can bet many historians had it during that time. The Jesuit orders, the Jesuits, which are actually higher than the Illuminati, Jesuits is a faction of the Catholic Church. They put the Illuminatis out there, but you rarely hear anything about the Jesuits. The Jesuits are top sorcerers that have been fighting against Israel since the European powers have been in existence. Okay? The Jesuits understood this. Alright? Now, this is the science that they use to fight against the biblical and historical and archaeological proof. They will tell you that the Indians stem from the Asians that went through the Bering Strait over through Alaska into America. That's science. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. If you see the Japhetic people over in Alaska right now, they are actually the original Asians. They're Japhetic. They're real dark Asian with the eyes, everything. They are the Eskimos. They're not the Indians. An entirely different race. But they use that to say that the Indian tribes migrated from the Eskimos that went through the Bering Strait, through Russia, through the Bering Strait over into America. That's a lie. They use that science to verse or to vice the bibliography to prove who the 12 tribes are. They had to come up with an alternative story. They had to make an alternative story, okay? Last thing I'm going to bring out of this book is Montesinos came over. You had Francisco, which was a European, and Francisco spoke with Montesinos. This is what Montesinos said. I'm going to read it and I'll show you the page on 364. Let me read it. It's so much, but I can't go through it all. It says here, waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon was greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river. In response to his signal. Now, y'all heard about that, the Indian signals with the puff of smoke? That's also biblical. To communicate in war and all that through smoke, we did that. It says here, the two men waited. Eventually, a canoe appeared bearing 3 men and a woman, all of them Indians, to the place where Francisco and Montesinos were standing at the water's edge. The woman got off and spoke to Francisco in an Indian tongue that Montesinos could not understand. Although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation. She then turned to her male companions to explain the situation. Upon hearing her words, they rose, went over to Montesinos, and to his utter astonishment said, Shema Yasha'Allah, Alahaya Nawa, Ahaya Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. They had recited in the Hebrew the fundamental credo of Judaism. So you had the Europeans go over to meet the Indians, and the Indians greeted them on the Sabbath with the greeting we use on the Sabbath. Shema Yasha'Allah, Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Akkad. They were not speaking some foreign tongue. They were speaking Hebrew. It's in the book. These are actual records from the conquerors and those that came in close proximity and contact with the indigenous people of the land. Now, check out this conversation. A brief conversation then ensued in their common ancestral tongue, according to Montezinos, whose fluency in it is almost as perplexing to the reader of his narrative as is that of three mysterious new companions. They told him that they were themselves of the tribe of Reuben, and that the tribe of Joseph lived on an island nearby. This was in Florida where this happened. You had some of Reuben, which is the Seminole Indian, over there. Not only did they identify themselves, they say, listen, our brothers is on the island nearby. Talking about Cuba.
Right. Not that far from Florida, like 90 minutes.
Yeah. You got Manasseh and Ephraim, which are the sons of Joseph. The Puerto Ricans. You got Cuba. These are the sons of Joseph. Not only did they know who they were, they said, we're Reuben and our brothers on an island nearby. They knew where their brothers were. Now, how did they lose this information? Here it is. They know at this point exactly who they are. They have a language, everything. So you know they have the commandments. When did they lose this? When the Europeans came over to discover America. They killed the ancients, destroyed the ancients. They took away all knowledge of who these people were and taught the children history, gave them a new story, forced them into their religions, the new brand of Christianity, forced them into their institutional programming, schools. And now you come up to one of these people in Florida or come and go to Cuba and ask them, some of them, the majority of them, they, man, what? We Spanish. That's what we are. We Spanish. We Latinos. Okay? As you can see, it's in the book. Genesis 49. Let's get a few of them. Genesis 49, get that. But I want to show something here also. We have a lot of information here. Hebrewism in West Africa. The Levitical priests would have what you would call an ephod on their chest to show their priesthood. It's an ephod that's written of in the law. Here's some people being conquered by European conquerors, right? Or being showed or being escorted, excuse me. And you, in this picture, it shows Ashanti ambassadors crossing the Pra. And I want you to look at the guy in the front. What's on his chest? On his chest is a priesthood ephod on the chest of this brother right here. What is an African doing with an ephod on his chest? Ashanti. They were Levites. They were the priesthood. Pass it around so they can see this. Pass it around. No, I got it because I don't want you to go through that. I'll show it to you. Look at this right here. I want y'all to see this if y'all can't see this here. On this guy's chest is they got 12 different emeralds that breaks down each tribe. It was called an ephod for the priest. You have the European